we're on to the players who are actually there, and we're headed on into Overpass. This is going to be the stage. This is do or die for Vitality. Reminder of what's on the line here, folks. It's tournament life. Either you win here, Vitality, you take us to a third map, or you're headed home from Katowice. You miss your shot at playoffs. And even here, if they win, they don't quite have playoffs yet. They will move on to the lower bracket final for Group B. That's what's on the line. They'll have one more series, and that will put them into the playoffs or send them home. But this is huge. I mean, you see them start on the right foot. They will be on the T side. We see a bit of utility picked up for shox to set up a bomb plant, presumably. And meanwhile, Virtus.pro on the other side, heavily invested in terms of util, set up with the smokes, able to go for a retake with that kit. Should be well positioned into it. And they're going with 4 players towards B initially. This is a pretty hard read. A very hard read indeed. So presumably if it's an A hit, they'd fall off. But as I say that was just the initial phase in case Vitality decided to start off with a bang. They're immediately rotating 3 players back? Okay, the first player moves. SANJI moves back. Didn't expect to see everyone. Buster, I guess, has early information over towards construction, but this is a Virtus.pro that is shifting their look constantly, moving back, forth, this way, that way, left, right, and center. Utility's starting to come out here from shox, and it seems like it has been a good read. They're coming in towards A. There are 4 players here from Virtus.pro ready to receive them. They've got the long control. Now comes the hit. There's the kills. A couple of them coming rapidly, but ZywOo answers back, and he gets a tag to boot. 1 HP and a dream living here for SANJI, but they can't connect. At least not just yet. SANJI continuing to do damage, but he cannot hang on. And ZywOo's found another kill. Working on his third now as they fight Buster in towards the bank. They know where he's at. He cannot fall away. He just wants to take it, but that will be shox down for the count. Buster hasn't been tagged. At least not for the moment. The kit is down towards the site. Can be retrieved. Buster will need to fight his way through. Is there a smoke down is the real question. Because if that happens, he can just go ahead and stick towards the defuse. If not, he's going to have to find some kills here. And that is indeed the situation he's working with. Wants to battle into the bathrooms. There's not a player close to the left. He can clear in. Does he go for the full wrap by Bracket? I don't think he has enough time for it. Finds ZywOo, but ZywOo finds the head first. Pistol round claimed. Vitality up to the 1-0. And a very nice round for this star player. 399 ADR in that one. As he takes 3 kills and almost the last. We saw the dink on SANJI come through from him. That's the kind of ZywOo round we need.
Yeah, he didn't play bad by any means back on Inferno, but it's a map where the upper is a bit more limited. So we were seeing a lot of the time, at least the trades were coming in after you get 1 frag or so. And it's a little bit harder to achieve that if you're VP here, trying to trade him out constantly on Overpass, a map where that up lends itself to a lot of long-range angles especially. But obviously it was a pistol round there, and he starts it off on a high note. So that is what we wanted to see from the start, as you mentioned. And obviously they do also have shox back in. It is the full eco, though. We're only seeing a single flash bot up for VP. It's actually SANJI. It's actually thrown into the connector. Unfortunately, not catching the players. They'd already gone a little bit more aggressive on the stairs, and with that, we're able to fully avoid it. Yeah, we don't really expect to see anything at all being found here from VP, if we're honest. This should be a clean round from Vitality. If they even lose a player, then that's honestly probably a little bit disappointing for them. The goal is to make this an easy one.
It's got to be a huge breath of relief as well, because, I mean, in Inferno, we're talking about it.
Buster.
They won both pistols. They lost both 4 spies in the subsequent. So, nice to not have to deal with that. Nice to not have to worry about that here. Just plant the bomb, take it through, convert off of your pistol, and avoid unpleasant memories of what happened on Inferno coming back to bite you.
Yeah, they'd gone up 4-2 even at one point, I believe, back on Inferno.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was only really at that point that VP really came alive, and then I think went up 9-4 with 7 rounds in a row before they really started losing anything again. So as you said, it is good to see Vitality able to get this early lead for themselves, preferably without losing the players, as we've seen here also. Lets them build up that money with some weaker weapons, with the 2 Galils and a Mac 10 also. That's it's a pretty good find, rather, to keep everyone alive, because if they live with all 5 here, they can keep them into this next gun round as a bit of a bonus. And we're not going to see a perfect fight from VP either. We're actually going to see probably a lack of nades, maybe even helmets having to be sacrificed. I was going to say with that, the Mac 10 could still be incredibly useful, but that's gone. There is still the Galils, obviously, that might benefit from the lack of helmets. We'll see what VP go towards exactly. No off available, I don't... No, there is one actually on the ground right there, sorry, so it will be picked up. Jame at least having that to work with. Is YEKINDAR on a glass cannon Mac 10? But
yeah, he sacrificed to get the op. Mm-hmm. He took the hit. He took the hit for the team.
The op, but YEKINDAR? He's so impactful,
He
and he's going to be up around bathrooms on his own.
The thing is, he does this for the team not infrequently. He's a very selfless player in that he's instantly willing to drop. And he gets into that situation. He's the player who could drop the op. He's the one who takes the hit. Nice shot for Jame. That's why we see them prioritize getting the op up. That's the impact that it can have for this team. And YEKINDAR, he knows that with his glass cannon, he's very much going to be an early warning system. He's designed to set his teammate up. So he's going to set up in towards the bathrooms, and they will come back into clear, so this could work again. RPK coming looking for it. They want to punish that AWP. They want to get some path in towards site. Surprised we haven't seen a third player rotate up, but they're hoping that that AWP will be enough to chase them down into this monster hit. Vitality, though, are not intimidated, and I think some of those footsteps might have been heard. VP are very much not set up to be able to rotate quickly. That could come back to bite them. We're just now seeing them start to inch over. I think this is likely a site take, likely a bomb plant, and likely a retake setup. The question becomes, can shox do damage here in bathrooms before that comes through? And actually now, if shox goes down, SANJI's found one. There we go. Now it's a big problem. Jame takes out ZywOo. The bomb's now out in the open. They can't even think about the plant. They've got to face in, and they will die. Huge round for Jame. They get him the AWP. He delivers. 4 kills for them. That was problematic. Vitality definitely had a moment to take the site to potentially punish, but because shox gets held for on the flank, because Jame doesn't even flinch about that one, and then SANJI can do the damage from the site itself, it kind of all falls apart. So very nicely done for VP. That's a heck of a way to get a gun round on the board. And now we're going to see Vitality, well, they're going to be pretty good about this. There's going to be limitations for Mizuta to allow them to get more utility up. ZywOo as well has a full kit. But let's see if they can apply that pressure back on with 4 AKs.
Yeah, that previous round was basically the bonus approach, other than Masuda, who had gone down in the round before that. So yeah, as you said, he stuck towards the Tech 9, but it's not too bad. Overall, a solid enough buy, and well, we're not seeing a lot of aggression from VP in this round either. So Vitality have been able to get themselves a really good basis of control. One player up into the B water. They have also here Masuda going up through connector to join up with the rest of them as they get ready to push through mid. And even in the bathrooms this time, we're not really seeing any aggression coming in from VP. Instead, they are opting for the slight B stack. I guess maybe expecting this bite to be coming in, but perhaps thinking it would be lacking nades a bit. So expecting a little bit of a quicker B play, perhaps. At this point, realizing it's not the straight up hit, but they are tossing a lot of nades down themselves. So they do seem to at least think it could potentially still be over this side. We'll find out now pretty soon that Vitality are moving in towards the bathrooms. And yeah, I think YEKINDAR has already heard those footsteps. Does have a teammate back at the truck, but is Jame going to be able to help him out? Because they also need to be careful of the short side. Looks like they'll find action incredibly soon. And with the time that's left and we see them actually peeking towards Monster, they should realize they can rotate another player back up.
Oh no! What's happened?
To move. The timing for YEKINDAR was fantastic. Caught Apex moving back. That should indicate now that they are at least coming towards this A bomb site, or if that they were going back towards B, they were only beginning to move at that moment. So Jame, he's going to have to hold this one off. Decides actually to fall back towards the bank. I'm fine with that. They already have the man advantage. They can set up the crossfire and try and snatch 1 or 2 more kills, and at that point just play for the retake, and it's going incredibly well. Jame continues to frag. He hits the wall bang even. Doesn't get the kill, but it weakens up a player who was already lacking the firepower. And even with YEKINDAR going down, he also does damage towards RPK, so it is a strong 4-on-3.
Question is, can RPK do more from the bathrooms? qikert hears this. He knows he's right here. And he's not expecting the player to be holding for him. That's a big kill to find. Now this should be the Modown. Mizuta doing damage with the Tech 9. There's another follow-up for shox, but it's all on shox. He's only got 12 points of health. He is not long for this world. Jame can come back in with a pistol, and that's what he's going to do. Defuse will be on. Bomb plant does give something for Vitality to work with, but just in the nick of time, VP do take the round. So they tie up the scoreline here, and they do have the money to deal with the 3 losses. Not a huge deal. Their opponents will be presumably on an eco here. That was nicely played from Virtus.pro. I absolutely agree with you. Once you've had the initial pick, you know you have control out towards long. I don't know what happened to Apex. Was he was playing anti-flash, I assume? Looked like he was just staring in towards the wall. His teammates had control of bathroom, so he can't have been expecting to play from there. I guess he was setting up for an anti-flash.
Yeah, probably expecting them to try and push up long just because they hadn't heard anything in so long since kind of the initial player. I think it was shox who had been making noise outside Monster. So just, yeah, I guess just expecting the aggression to come in. Didn't think they'd peek without one and just take the free kill basically at that point. But it is the money broken down. 2 rounds in a row for VP to kick things off as soon as they got the guns going here on their CT side. And Well, a lot of control for YEKINDAR in the connector. With all of the T's grouped up around mid, when they find contact, YEKINDAR could cause devastation with a potential flank, or even just by coming back up connector then as well, with the help of Jame playing around the bathrooms. So we'll see what happens. Did he spot that? He does now. Not going to quite connect the shot, and yeah, decides he doesn't want to stick her in a position where potentially going down could give away the weapon. So he falls back off. He'll keep his range against those weaker weapons, and they've even done some decent damage with a couple players tagged up. So yeah, I wouldn't imagine they'll struggle a lot here, but whenever I say that, whenever I say a team is looking to have a clean round, that's the ones where things just go all wrong. So we'll find out soon anyway. I don't want to jinx it.
The one thing they really do have for them is that deep connector control gives them a lot to work with here. Sanji's going to take 2. He's looking for more. RPK does take out qikert coming into support, but Sanji, he's running out of bullets. He's still doing the damage, and it's enough. Literally the perfect amount of bullets in his gun to get those 4 kills. Doesn't even go for the reload. He'll even bring back the AUG for a little bit extra money for them, but that is a nice round for VP. And as you say, converting cleanly is nice to do there. 4 players alive will do the trick in that particular regard. So Vitality, here comes the purchase back in. This time, no Tech 9 for Misuta. He's going to be A-okay. But one thing they've been struggling to deal with is this early off aggression from Jame. So what's the answer? Maybe a little bit more presence towards B, but as we've seen, Virtus.pro have been stacking a lot of bodies here, especially early on in the round. As we see here, it's monster aggression. Oh, are they going to catch it? That's one way to compensate for the SMG. YEKINDAR is already forward. shox having to deal with them. The response from Vitality is swift. They're headed towards A. And they're headed towards A rapidly. Jame, I don't know if he was spotted getting around there. Wasn't quite cleaned up, and you can see Apex is going to hold for the angle. ZywOo's already here. They smoke off long, not wanting to deal with it. Buster looked like he had it, but no. RPK denies. That should be the round for Vitality. Great response to the construction aggression, or to the monster aggression, rather. The players flying out. Jame needs to isolate this fight. He does indeed take down Apex, but he just wants to get away. He just wants to secure his gun, and on the flank it is shox, but shox can't get anything doing. So Virtus.pro now, you're actually tempted to come back into the retake, and indeed that's what they're going to do. They got those 2 kills in the periphery they were planning to save, and suddenly it's like, all right, well, the numbers are down. I guess we're going to do this. There's 2 players walked out towards long, but they have to tango with Jame. He's going to find the first. He doesn't expect the second, though. If he had held ZywOo there, they might be able to win it just off of that, but they need to hop on this defuse now, sooner rather than later. Don't even know if they have time at this juncture. They certainly don't now. That's going to be the round. Only 1 player survives, and I think he's going to go up with the smoke. It's Misuta, the lone survivor, trying to get towards the AWP. Won't be able to snag it, but Vitality do draw it back to 3.
Yeah, I like the switch up. That's one thing we've been seeing from VP, constantly trying to change things up. They were doing the same back on Inferno, and, well, they gave it a go there with the monster aggression, but yeah, they were punished. You were saying we've seen that aggression, we've seen it from the off a lot. I was going to say, clearly their answer to challenge it wasn't the up for ZywOo, or at least it couldn't be in that previous round without the money. But yeah, they get it done either way. As you said, weren't able to retrieve the op, which is a little bit unfortunate, but the main thing is they win the round, and they have a chance if they win this one to actually break VP's economy. And at that point, really start building up a solid foundation of rounds already here on the T side. Oh, the spam! ZywOo just about getting away with it on 18 health, but it's not the player you want going so low within just seconds of the round beginning. You've already got one of your stars down on 18 health. A little bit of an awkward spot to be in for sure. Again, leaving shox over towards Monster just to ensure they don't get pushed or anything, and while working with the majority of players up towards short. This seems like the pretty standard default, nothing too crazy about it.
He's the threat as well, right? He's the constant threat that keeps their minds occupied. But here, you're going to go a little that direction. They'll probably figure out that it's the lurker, and they're going to float a 3rd player up top, especially as they've taken a little bit of construction control. They've got vision out that way. Buster can be the early warning system. So now it's a decent hold on site, and there's no presence out towards long for Vitality. So this triangle could get a bit tough. Buster does clean up shox, so now no threat there. As shox tried to get through the connector. Vitality. They need to be wary about the flank. They know about that. That slowed them down a little bit. Here comes the utility salvo. Here comes the hit. 35 seconds. They don't have a lot of time to play with. They are going to have to just commit into this one. And there are many bodies here for VP, 4 to be exact. Here comes the swing. There comes the kills. This crossfire is deadly. It's just so tough to dismantle, and they still haven't dealt with the player out towards Optimus. There's just nothing to do. Whichever way you look, there's going to be a VP player behind you. And so not a player drops for Virtus.pro. What a way to reinforce the economy. What a way to just shut down Vitality. The problem with that setup is by the time you've lost the pick with shox, They can rotate that 4th player up, and then 4 players in position on site. You just allow them too much time to settle in and get comfortable. It's so tough to deal with.
Yeah, and we know that's something that VP are always doing. They're always shifting around and going for those stacks. It was something that was actually working in Vitality's favor back on Inferno a little bit when they were finding those open bomb sites and finding just one player and such. But yeah, it doesn't work out in this case. It is VP heading up towards 4 instead, and well, what had been a round where Vitality had the chance to break VP becomes one where VP actually break Vitality's money instead. So yeah, a few pistols being upgraded, that's it. Again, they did just leave shox outside Monster, the rest of them working up towards middle, but he's going to come back and join them now, and well, the hope is to hit this A-bomb site quickly and potentially overwhelm the op. I'm guessing that's the goal. Try and catch Jame. They don't have a flash, sadly, to take him off the angle, so it'll be more about trying to actually ensure the trade. But, well, as Apex goes down on long anyway, there was no one there to try and give him a hand. So a very early advantage. Short burst now. YEKINDAR had just crossed into long, and I was about to say that will not be expected, and no, it was not. 3 from YEKINDAR, a very clean anti-eco from VP as they head up 5-3, and a tactical pause from Vitality before they head into this next gun round, which is a pause I completely agree with. They don't have an op again. That's one thing they're just not getting here. Do they even want it? I guess not, if they just keep buying just out of range. Well, I guess that time they couldn't afford it. I don't even think, did ZywOo buy a pistol?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it's that much of a difference. I forget now. It's not like... I don't think out-aiming Jame with the op is going to be the answer here. It's about the positioning. And you can see them trying to punish him again and again and again. That round, yes, I know YEKINDAR comes away with the 3 kills, but it's Jame really who holds strong for them, just taking the shot and giving them no opportunity with the pistols to punish it, because that's what they want. They want to gum up the works. They want to throw bodies at him until they drop that AWP, and then they want to try and get the plant. What's interesting to me is that Vitality really haven't shown any B presence other than the shox flare. They haven't gone for a B hit, you know, a long time, if ever.
Yeah, I don't know. Straight from the pistol round, they went over towards A, I believe. So I think you're correct that we haven't actually seen the B hit yet.
There we finally have some B presence, more than shox. But something. But the thing is that Virtus.pro started to get comfortable here, so they've taken the construction control every round. They go in with the early stack, but they know that Jame can be trusted to do some damage. Here comes the punish, but the trade is there. And shox, a low HP player, is the one who survives, which isn't ideal. The op down in con. This could get risky, because now there's a player pressuring from the top, but YEKINDAR's here to keep this alive. shox is cleaned up. Now it's a 4v2. Nothing doing here. Maybe we see their reticence to go towards B. They know that hold from VP is strong, particularly in the early round. Jame takes one more. That's the bomb down. This should not be winnable for ZywOo, but it is ZywOo. So never say die. He's a man alone. He's looking to retrieve that bomb at the very least. James playing babysitting duty on that. A precious parcel that he does not want the opponent to find. And he will just watch through his crosshair to make sure that no one gets into the position. They've got deep control into its connector. They've got a player push all the way through towards T-spawn stairs in qikert. It should not be allowed to happen. Jame, though, you can see the respect they give to ZywOo. Do not take the fight if you don't have to. Bleed as much clock as possible. Fall, fall, fall. Give him nothing. That's very well played for a Virtus.pro side that likes to take a fight every once in a while. Now the hit's going to come through as he continues to clear, just so frustrated that he can't find a player, finally chases it up, and he will die. So 4 players survive for VP, nothing doing for Vitality, not even a bomb plant, which means no way to justify a gun purchase here. And we are starting to see a concerning trend. It's starting to look a little bit like Inferno. 6 of the last 7 rounds have gone the way of Virtus.pro.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least with that, they are finally building up their loss bonus towards the top. But they were 1 short, and as you mentioned, without the bomb plant, they wouldn't have been getting there towards the buy. So a little bit of investment. They should, at least, if they want anyway, get the op in the next round. They won't be lacking any nades or anything. So it will be a strong investment, but you said it. You said it's getting scary. It's starting to look a little bit like what we had seen in the initial moments of Inferno, where it was back and forth, and then VP just took control for, well, pretty much the rest of the half. So Vitality, they can't let that happen again. shox is going to go down. He was alone over towards the B side. They haven't pushed through or anything, so they don't know that there's no one else immediately ready to follow up. But you'd probably presume that there wasn't a player moved in towards short with shox anyway, or else he would have at least tried to get that trade in. And well, yeah, they've spotted the player over towards long. Every time they've spotted that one player on the long corner, the others have been grouped up in the back room just about to come out. So I was gonna say it shouldn't be too difficult to read, but it is getting a bit awkward. Jame did find one at least to allow for the retreat to bank, but he had nearly gotten caught right there, as his teammate does actually go down on the bomb site, and, well, it gives them over a bomb plant. So fantastic money no matter what in this next round for Vitality, but what can they do right now with this after plant? Because they even have an AK, and, well, they have the aggression. James missing some shots, and he gets punished for a SANJI has fallen in the meantime, and it's down into a 2-on-2, Mike.
They're going to have to wait for qikert to get back into position, but that's a huge kill for him to find. Now they know where the last player is. They know he's in bank. Apex has to look 2 directions. He's going to get clocked upside the head here in a moment. Knows the kill's coming through, but Apex with the pre-fire. That'll work. Doesn't have the health to deal with this. There is going to be just enough time for the defuse here for Virtus.pro. That got way too close. I love what Vitality did there. They changed up their timing by a second, maybe even just half of a second, and that was enough to catch off YEKINDAR. And then once they do, they know the pressure's on towards Jame. They chase him. They do not let him get back, let him get comfortable set up with his teammates. They punish, they punish, they punish. That's what they've been trying to do to this A setup. That's what they've been trying to do to this off the entire game. It just hasn't worked. Now it does. And that's what we see. That was the idea of the game plan coming into effective fruition just with the pistols. They don't win the round, but you can see what they're attempting. Oh, it's the Yertle the Turtle. The op comes out. We were wondering whether they wanted it. They do want it. And here's the Yertle the Turtle boost. And it's going to work out. Catches Buster going for the info peak all the way towards site. 4 players required to make that stack happen, but it does pay dividends. Still, it gives the space, and YEKINDAR, he's claimed it. The flash, though, punishes. And James not back on the angle. He's going forward. They're already out in the playground. He doesn't realize this is going to be so risky. Down he goes. It's falling apart for Virtus.pro. And all it took was one cheeky 5-man boost.
I actually kind of like that. Normally, we say, obviously, the boost is a bit risky because you're giving up so much map control, but Vitality, fully aware of that, even kind of used that as a bait to pull VP aggressive in on mid so that they could punish it on top of that initial pick that ZywOo was able to get. So this has worked flawlessly right now for them. Hopefully they can continue it in a clean fashion, because you don't want to be just about scraping through one of these gun rounds after having lost so many in a row. And it looks like that should be the case. They're actually setting up outside B, but they've realized A is completely clear there as RPK walks on. So this could be risky. qikert and SANJI could get something done over on the B side of things, but no, it is not happening. SANJI, he's all alone now. He should be just dropped pretty soon. He gets that first kill, but the trade at least should have been in place. I'm surprised they hadn't sent anyone around. And they're still just chilling outside Monster. It's not like they're being quiet about it either. Waiting for that flank from RPK to come down, and well, SANJI's looking like he might even be out of her. Yeah, backing up through connector, I guess, try and reapproach potentially. He could save as well. They have enough money to get the buy either way, but yeah, there's an up. Okay, now 100% you call for the save. They might go straight towards the secondary up. I wouldn't be surprised, because Buster, once he pulled out the secondary up on the CT side of Inferno, he started going insane. He went from, I think, well, they were all kind of hovering around the same level. He went from there up to the 30 bomb and ended up even ahead of James. So we might see that double up setup off the back of the saves one.
Might do. It was the difference maker in overtime. It's not... I would say Overpass doesn't lend itself to the double up as much as Inferno necessarily, just because Inferno has such tight choke points that you can hold. Whereas, you know, the secondary up on B can get a bit trickier. We were seeing Furia employ a lot of the double up with Junior and Art when we were watching them on Overpass, and they were just both getting aggressive, which worked out beautifully. Curious to see if we have it come through. I don't expect it. SANJI's thinking about it. Nope, they're going to bring it out. They bust it out. They pop it on over to Buster. So it is going to happen. You get your wish. Let's see if it's a difference maker for them. Buster will be a bit limited in terms of the utility, but it's worth it for him here. And they do still have a bit of money in the pool. That round, though, obviously that's the kind of round that does not work in succession. The Yertle the Turtle, they're going to go for it again? They're going to go for it again. Okay. A little awkward now. You might have missed your opportunity, guys. Okay, no. They give it up. They give it up. Tumbling towers here. It's Jenga being played on the server. It's no longer Counter-Strike. And you can see Virtus.pro were set up so that they could not be punished by it. 3 players pushed up in. Buster will have responsibility for construction. His teammates have to hold Monster. And so on they go.
Oh, Buster. No, that's not quite on. I thought he was going to hit that wall bang for a second. I would have cried for whoever was in connector. But yeah, that slowed Vitality down massively, not being able to get that boost in place, wasting like 10 seconds nearly before they even started moving in for map control. Thankfully, VP hadn't gone too aggressive, so they were still able to get it without too much time being wasted. But yeah, down to 40 seconds now. Looking like it will be the A hit, and a fantastic shot from Jame. Positions back. He's actually not going to fall towards the bomb site, not immediately anyway. And I don't know if he's going to have much of an option to do so anymore. As the flash goes over, he's forced to take the fights, and it's working. A leg towards the opposing upper, a follow-up onto Apex, and although he will eventually fall to Masuta, you still have YEKINDAR on the bomb site, and you just have a fantastic advantage in favor of VP in general that just gets better and better. Oh, and they're saving. Even if they try to go back down, qikert has the rotation, so they have no option. You're right, they have to save.
Jame has been just such class with that AWP towards the A site. 16-5 is his score line, but that round he wins for them again. Even just 2 kills, that's all he needs. He stands up to it. They're pressuring on. They're trying to punish that op, and he's just denying them at every turn. Again and again and again. He is so damn good. And he's just so good at feeling the pressure and dealing out enough damage that it's just not worth punishing him. Even with what they've got, even with the weaponry. Oh, man, this has been brutal for Vitality. So they're looking for that fit. They're looking to find something to build on. And Virtus.pro just continuing to twist the screws with this double up. Looks like we might finally get that fast B hit that VP have been stacking up for, but here's the response. Never mind, RPK and Mr. open this right up. Buster will find one, but around the pillar, how can he stay alive? Gets a no-scope even, but it's all in YEKINDAR. A 1v3, and this would take a heroic performance. He will not find Misuta. Misuta, good movement to stay away. Amali down to try and give him the 1v1. He nearly gets it. Takes out ZywOo. Misuta survives on 6 points of health. What a play from YEKINDAR. But it's not going to be enough. That is going to be another round for Vitality. They have at least secured 5. They can at least secure themselves a cushion. That got awkward for qikert. Looked like he should have taken the first, but couldn't quite have the spray. Oof. There we go.
That was way too close. If he had got that first kill initially as well, and then follows up, the other player wasn't ready. He was still rotating back around, so that could have been very winnable once those first 2 were found for YEKINDAR. But they aren't. That is the main thing. Vitality actually do take the round, and honestly have a really solid path towards even 7 at this point, unless Jame has something to say about it, and he does. He's already gone ahead and got himself 1. He was ready for the follow-up, but a little bit of help from Buster meant he wasn't even needed to step up for that second. I think it was the boost coming over from the A bomb site. Apex, nice catch on the Jame at least, so they've gone ahead and punished that A player who was pushed up on short. Was he just right beside connector? That's an interesting choice when he's completely alone there. His closest teammate being YEKINDAR back at the long corner. I'm very surprised he had stuck around with that aggression.
He couldn't get away, right? So he smoked to try and give himself a path out, but he didn't realize the player was already in towards party. He expected him to maybe be taking the tight angle. So he's trying to play close to the smoke to give himself a window to get through, and just didn't work out. Maybe for YEKINDAR to set up a flash. YEKINDAR trying to hold this. We'll spot the aggression out towards long, but he's just got a deagle. He can't stick around and fight. And ZywOo getting up on the flower pot. YEKINDAR just slips into the corner, but the nade comes out, and Apex is forward. That is now 2 players. Apex has caught completely off guard, and the third as well. A big round for the captain of the squad. He's going to be able to plant the bomb, or rather, he doesn't have the bomb. He'll be able to set up a plant. Not if Buster has anything to say about it, but Apex doesn't care. Looking for the ace now. 4 kills to his name. This is the round where he says, okay, guys, we can't get anything doing. I'll just do it all myself. I'll just do it all myself. Looks like SANJI wants to deny him the ace. He's wandering away. Might go try and get one of those guns in connector just so they have something to play with in this last round of the half. But this is Vitality really coming to life here at the tail end of the half. Finding some momentum, finding some space, and it's all Apex in this round to make it happen. There's the duel for SANJI, but shox was ready to guard those guns. That's not going to happen. Vitality finds 6, and they're looking to draw this so close. There won't be much from VP to hold them off at half.
No, and this is going to actually be a fantastic half from Vitality going up towards 7. Well, normally a pretty decent half anyway on Overpass, but just the recovery that they've put in is leaving them in a pretty solid position in terms of the momentum and hopefully having a lot more confidence now than they did in those opening rounds. ZywOo, the only one sitting positive, I believe, at the moment, which is an interesting stat to see for them. The opposite to be said for VP with only 1 player who's sitting in the negative, and that's Buster. He's even had some good moments. But here we go. Pistols and Kevlar, they can still be effective, especially if it's a hit that comes in over towards B, which just might be the plan for Vitality in this round. They've got 4 of their players around here. They've got just Masuda holding for the connector rotate to make sure that they won't be getting flanked. And, well, we'll see what can be done. qikert strafes across, and with that finds the head of RPK. He was at least traded back on by Apex, so it is going to be a 4-on-4, and the weapon sadly isn't retrievable. But they might even want to fight in either way. It looked like, yeah, Jame was considering it right there. It's tagged a tiny bit decent nade in towards Buster as well, and at the moment they're just probing this bomb site, wanting to find these fights and see if they can pick the numbers apart for VP, and eventually they do start to do so. Jame and the smoke, who maybe could have got someone, but no, YEKINDAR, he uses it as a bit of a distraction at least, but now he's got a 1-on-2 still to pull off. It's shox on half health. Gone ahead and dropped that player already, so it's ZywOo. If an up shot had to be missed, it would have been the end of the day, but he decides because of that, it is the deagle that he needs to resort to, and there we go. 2 to the body, he puts an end to it. It gets close, way too close for Vitality's sake for what they were up against, but they do finish that one out and end the half with 7. We'll be back after the break, guys. Stick right with us.
And we're back here at the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, where these teams are fighting for survival. Odds still favoring Virtus.pro, but that is a close half and a rally from Vitality at the end. GG bet, you might get surprised on this one. They would love to see a map 3. They would love to have a little bit more work in here. But there's many rounds yet to find, and Virtus.pro are looking to punish over towards A early, and that is a good read. It's only shox here. Shox was their B lurk in the first half. Didn't have, I would say, overwhelming success, but did a decent job. You can see his scoreline reflects the difficulty of that position. And now he's been given so much responsibility, and they're not dealing with him. They're just leaving him. They're taking long instead. Nobody's here. They're going to get a bomb plant without seeing a player. This is ridiculous, Dean. They've got so much room to rumble. Shox could be a thorn in their side, but the late flank from Kikert's going to make his life difficult. And there's the spot. There's going to be the plant. This could be risky. A 5-on-5 retake scenario. Vitality will have to get back into position, but deep controlling towards the bank is going to make this tough.
Oh god, we're gonna have a mad clash up close on the stairs. It's 4 of them coming in, and YEKINDAR is just wrecking on the Glock. He gets the first 3 to find a hat trick, and it's Buster and SANJI who want a piece of the pie as well. That was crazy, Mike. As you said, they bypass short completely, leaving shox there. They get the bomb site into the 5-on-5, and we just don't have any action or even shots fired up until, well, the round is nearly over, because within the first frag coming in, it's maybe 5 seconds before things are done and dusted. That was insane from YEKINDAR. Sadly, we didn't get to catch his perspective, but we do know it was pretty precise, holding up close. It can be tough with those players swinging in to hit those shots, but yeah, incredibly well done. Didn't even need all of the backup that he had lined up behind them on the stairs, ready to follow up if he was to fall, or if he was to fall quicker, rather. B push coming in, it's just a straight up rush. This is a bit risky. They don't know Masuda's up close on the D-Gold, and while he's lining them up, actually finds 2 of them. Nearly was able to drop the 3rd player. That was actually pretty close on that one. So yeah, really good damage across the board done. A double scout setup though, it's not really the weaponry that you want for this retake.
It depends, right? You're relying on them giving you a fight. And they shouldn't. They should not. But that could be the mistake. The nades are available though. That's helpful. 2 rifles still in play, but 1 player down for the count. Now a smoke to cover off construction. There is no player holding there. They could find 1 on the approach. That would go a long way to making this easier. There's the spot. There's a flick. SANJI gets 1. He gets 2. Actually, it was jame on the second, but now he's playing against ZywOo. Time running short, but ZywOo goes to the sidearm. Can't quite deal the damage with just a USP. That was risky. That was close, but it was the bonus round. So Virtus.pro are more than happy to limp through it. They are very happy to take this one. Now, you can see on the scoreboard, it looks very top-heavy, but that doesn't tell the full story. Jame and YEKINDAR obviously leading the charge at 19 and 17 apiece, had a phenomenal first half, but their teammates were just fine. It's just that Vitality went A every damn round. And so YEKINDAR and Jame had the most opportunity to kill players, and they did a pretty dang good job of it. By the time the remaining 3 were getting into the action, it was usually the retake, or the players were already pretty much mopped up. So everybody's firing on all cylinders here for VP. We haven't really seen anyone make any mistakes. There's a good kill for Misuda. Good with the pistols so far. But it's going to fall apart. They had the stack here that gave them a little bit of an attempt, but now it's just going to be left to Apex coming through the construction, or the connector rather. He's going to get caught, but trade is instantaneous. Some damage done, but crisis averted here for VP.
Yeah, 11-7. We keep seeing Vitality having slow starts in general in these halves. It's not ideal. They do at least get the op actually out early in this one. Glass cannon for ZywOo, but a couple of nades behind it as well. He was only slightly short of actually getting the body armor alongside it, unfortunately. But they need to wake up in this first gun round. They do not have the room to let themselves go down so dramatically again. Obviously, we've seen them pull off a bit of a comeback to get to the overtime, at least back on Inferno, but even then, they weren't able to get the finish. It needs to be here and now that they show us what they're capable of in Apex. Boosted up back in towards the spawn. It's a risky spot to play just because it takes so many players. And they will have heard that drop back down, right? They hear the first drop, then they hear a second drop, probably implying it was the 3-man stack. It could prompt them to actually move quickly over towards A, but it doesn't look like it. They are actually moving in this direction, but it hasn't really changed their pace. Oh, shox has gone quite aggressive. Risky once the smoke starts to fade away. Actually going to cross over even to the long side of the bathrooms. He might be overlooked, though. Could potentially catch Buster off guard, who's moving up along on his own.
They should know they haven't cleared this, though. You can see how spread they are around the map. They know they don't have a lot of actual control. They've got these sort of keyhole angles. Now they're going to be coming through. Shox, YEKINDAR, shox, Buster. This is going to be interesting. Can't quite hang on. Almost the kill. Frustrating for shox. Damage done. Information gained, but not even a ton. He's only seen the 1 player. Didn't even realize he was getting flanked by YEKINDAR. And he probably would have been traded even if he had gotten that kill. So it's a decent setup for VP. Well executed. There is only 1 player towards the A site, but it is ZywOo. And the hit's going to come in towards B. They're moving in. 3 bodies here. This should be well set up for Vitality. The flashes are good, though, and there's a delete. Oh, a second, a third. They just follow it through. The entries are beautiful. And ZywOo just has to save. He's glass cannon AWP. This is $4,750 they would very much like to take into the next round. But VP, they walked into a stack. They walked into 3 players, and the flashbang and the entries were perfection.
Yeah, that was insane. Great work from YEKINDAR and qikert, I believe it was, on those entries. Perfect flash as well to catch Masuda up close. It's just strong play from VP. They're not making any mistakes. You had shox obviously getting caught playing very aggressive on his own. Once he goes down, there's not a single chance for a trade of any kind to be found. And VP just utilized that advantage that they got well. And we know they're just ridiculous with these entries. YEKINDAR is fantastic in that role, and always has been for them. Since adding them, of course, just from the get-go, there wasn't that slow start that you sometimes see. But yeah, it's pistols again. 13-7 is going to be the score. We said they couldn't afford to lose that round. They have lost it, so I guess they have a chance to maybe prove me wrong if they do get going and still make the comeback happen. But it's not boding well for them right now. Again, as you can see at the top of the score, guys, at the top of the screen, rather, guys, if you weren't with us on map number 1, it did go the way of VP. It went all the way to an overtime, and it was a close one for sure. But they took that first map, and at the moment, they're on track potentially for the 2-0. And they could be sending Vitality home. shox, he wants a peek again. Doesn't have any help here with him, so as he goes down, there's unfortunately no one to try and follow up. They only have the pistol, so I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I think that's even more reason to try and use them together rather than just taking the fights on your own. And he's having a tough time, 6-18. shox didn't have the benefit of warming up on map number 1, which I guess is one kind of small negative to the 6-man roster that they rotate, of course.
I think even the bigger concern is just that they give him no help. He's alone. They're playing him like he's a lurker, except it's the CT side, and he doesn't have an op. He has a rifle, or even just a pistol, and they just leave him alone. I don't know. I don't really love this setup for Vitality. Maybe it works if shox having a tremendous game, but he's not. As you pointed out, he's not having a good game. But it's tough to fault him when he's left with so much individual responsibility and no setup. Apex will get one. Here come the trades, though. The bodies are dropping. YEKINDAR's taking everybody, because that's what he does. And there's the cleanup. No problem there. Only one casualty. It's Buster to be lost. Virtus.pro are now rolling through. They've got cash money for days. Everybody above 5K, except presumably Buster, who will have to rebuy his own kit. There's a lot of money available for this VP side. And they only need 3 more rounds to advance on to the next, to have a shot at the playoffs, and to eliminate Vitality from contention. This is a team that has proven so much. They were already a team that had strong placing, but I think they've proven so much even in this tournament. And they're continuing to do it, trying to knock off big names round after round. qikert dips his toes in a Molotov. He was feeling a bit cold. He's going to be warmed up now. It's a triple boost. That boost will fall away, and we see slow connector control taken by VP as they continue to advance their way through. Once again, it's shox, and only shox towards this A side of the map. This time, at least they gave him an op. He's got something to work with, but I really hate this setup. ZywOo's coming up to support him now, so there's a second player here. Thank goodness. Give the man some damn help.
Yeah, he's still actually playing relatively aggressive, though. Up around there. The sign, I believe, even peeking ahead of it. Oh, SANJI catches the player pushed up in water. Masuda had no idea. He did have a teammate watching the connector from short, but just the way the door was opened up, unfortunately, didn't give his help any sort of vision. So basically, a free opening kill goes the way of VP. This is scary again for Vitality. shox realized that they do have the pressure on their shoulders. He was looking tempted to try and even push in and see what could be pulled back. Obviously, the molly stops him from doing such a thing for now. And as he does start moving back in towards the angle again, we can see that 4 players right now are just around this corner. So this is going to be tough. He spotted the barrel of jame. Wasn't able to get the shot off. Instead, waits for YEKINDAR to come around the corner and will connect. But now he's pinned in. Can he find at least one more? No, he cannot. SANJI rips off his head. ZywOo now on towards the truck is going to have some pressure to try and overcome, and he hits the leg. That allows him to swap back to the USP. Let's get the finish, and at this point he's doing a great job at least in wasting time and allowing for his teammates to rotate up, and there we go. They are there to help out. As I said, ZywOo, that initial kill, just staying alive, letting Apex and RPK get into position, absolutely fantastically played.
Phenomenal. And I'm happy for shox as well that he at least got 1 kill out of that. Obviously not what he was hoping from the position, but considering the number of times we saw him peek in and just have missed a player, just be missing them, shift off just at the wrong moment, finally gets 1. It's a tough spot to play with the AWP, though. Tough spot to play that aggressive. So Vitality, they find an 8th. They find an 8th here, Dean, but as we said, there was plenty of cash money, and it looks like Virtus.pro want to accelerate because they're not going to go towards the AWP. They're going to go straight into the rifles. They want to go for a fast B hit. This smoke through, they could just punish it, and indeed they're going to. Here we go. Is RPK up to the task? He's got support as well. There's players here. They have the bodies. Now they need the kills. There's one. There's a trade. Mista drawing focus. That might distract from RPK. Here out towards the barrels. I think they had a good idea he was here. But they're trying to provide a smoke for him to bail back into after he takes the fight. He's even going to re-smoke, so they certainly know he's here, but they just can't find him. They can't get the vision on his angle. Good flashbangs, good peeks, good clears. Misuta doing work here to even prevent RPK from having to fire a bullet. Now they might have lost track of him, not be expecting him to still be here. This could be huge. Up and over the barrels goes a player as the smoke clears. There's one. Needed the second, though, for Buster. And he just doesn't have enough time on the spray. All on the jame. No up at hand. It's the AK this round. He's got ZywOo to get past in crosshair. Misuta tucked. And then shox is an insurance policy who hasn't even moved onto site just yet. But they're isolated in their fights. They can't really trade this. Jame could take the fight on Misuta. And ZywOo, I don't think he's going to be able to get to the angle. Here comes the hit. Does he back off? No. ZywOo waiting. Patient. Molly will force him forward. Now he's in the angle, but he's just going to sit there. He misses the shot. Jame, 30 seconds to play with. And just a shox to deal with. Does he have the read? Shox with the op as well in a 1v1. Jame out in the open. Everything's about timing, but now he knows. Now he knows, and he's gotten around. The bomb will go down. Shox going to try and swing on it, but time is of the essence. Jame gets around. The movement impeccable. Shox isn't ready for this at all. There's the headshot. No, not hit. Another chance here for Shox, and he will connect. So a rare error from Jame. Had him lined up, had him zeroed in, but he falls off at the wrong moment. And that will be the defuse for Vitality, but just by the slimmest of margins here, Dean.
Jeez, yeah, that was way too close. It looked like the molly hadn't even landed quite deep enough even to force the op out in the back at spawn, but Jame was just hitting mad shots. That gets way too close. Way too close in that situation right there for Vitality. They can't really afford to be letting that many players go. You can see it costs them everything to purchase back up the weaponry that they lost, and VP are able to come right back in to obviously keep on fighting for this one. If this round is lost by Vitality, they could be giving away map point and series point as well, of course, off the back of that. So we'll see how this goes. Is it going to be another quick B play? It's looking definitely possible right now. The nade's already going over. They have two players, though, back towards Connector and watching for the mid push, so it seems like it's more of a fake, and maybe even an attempt to push Vitality into going more aggressive around mid or even Connector, so that they could try and punish it and find an early opening. But yeah, we'll see. It did run down quite a few nades as well from the CT side.
Nades that they don't have a lot to deal with, right? The remaining nades are almost all up on the A site. There's very little to show for here on B. A couple of flashes, that's all that remains. Otherwise, it's this setup out towards long from ZywOo and shox that has everything. They're playing the pixel angles over long. Here's going to be the clear. Shox, though, gets the kill. That was huge. Playing anti-flash, he needed to have it. ZywOo didn't hit the shot, but the setup works. That's going to drive them back the other direction, though. Now it's on to YEKINDAR. YEKINDAR out solo on site. No one close enough to trade him. And this is working out for RPK. He takes two before the molly forces him away. Beautifully done. That's a nice kill for Jame, but now he's all alone. Well, what's he even going to do? Fakes that he's leaving, jumps back, tries to provide a little bit of misdirection, perhaps. Don't know that they're really going to bite. Two crosshairs pointed his direction, one of them in the hands of ZywOo. This is going to be a save, I think. 20 seconds. He doesn't have time to get towards A. Yep, he's going to save.
Yeah, he's chilling. Plop himself down in this corner and, well, don't leave. It's jam time.
Jam time. You should get that trademark.
Even with the save over, though. Even with the save, though, the money isn't looking too great. It has been just the one round lost in a row, or two rather now at this point, right? So they can just about get a buyout. Jame could drop one over to SANJI, and then you can see the others all just about scrape it out. But the nades would be very, very limited. I think they probably will go for it, but at 13 to 10, it's a little bit risky because it's not perfect. If you end up losing it, then at that point, you would have to take an eco in the following round unless you're getting the bomb down, and even then, I don't think it would be enough in this case. So yeah, they actually do decide against it. I'm good with this safer approach being taken from VP. Pistols and Kevlar behind the AK, and it honestly still gives them a really good chance on a map here like Overpass to get something done, especially if they can get up close in the face of their opponents. And well, B is the site where you certainly can do that. But for now anyway, slowed slightly by those mollies. Vitality are definitely cautious that they could be getting rushed down. They know that there's a bit of a weaker buy around whatever was just saved. They could think it was the op, though.
RPK, good flashbang, better kills. Massacre just wipes them all away. This round is over. It's done. It's dusted. It's done with. Jame tries for one more. That's not going to happen. Nice round for RPK. It's a pretty classic setup. He executes it to perfection. Now we're within 2. We are within 2 here, Dean. We've started to see this get more and more dangerous as time has gone on. Reminiscent of Inferno, where, like... Was he not?
No, I don't think so. They didn't get the flash assist, and I didn't see his hand over his eye, so that's why I was wondering. I was like, why wasn't he shooting?
There you go.
He might have been very slightly blind, and it probably just blocked him enough.
The old teammate in the way. Pause comes in from VP. This makes sense. Great time to try and get a momentum swing back in your favor. You know that you're not far off from cracking down this Vitality squad, but now they've got a little bit of money buffer. They got a little bit to work with here, and bit by bit, they are making themselves far more comfortable and far more likely to be able to take this through to dust too. What's the change up? What's the difference? We've seen them hit B a lot these last few rounds. I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen more focus back on punishing shox out towards A. They're having a lot of success with it. They've gone away from it. Maybe it's time to get back to what was working.
Yeah, it seems like, again, Vitality have woken up, though. It's what we've seen on Inferno. They struggled in the early moments. Once they get going, though, they seem to be able to keep it up, at least. It seems like it's things just kind of get a little bit easier once they break through that initial piece. shox is very aggressive again. We mentioned how he's been doing this alone and a lot, and that is the case yet again. The only thing is there's absolutely no one, even around the A side of the map. They've actually stacked up over towards B. And shox is getting split on. This is worst case scenario for him right now. 2 players coming up connector, 2 coming in from mid as well. The question is, do they peek this together? They don't even need to. YEKINDAR just delivers a headshot. Kikert's even going to find this B aggression right now. Do they clear it? They do. And it was just as Kikert looks over, expecting the triple boost apparently in the spawn. Oh, had he heard something to maybe indicate that that could have been happening? I'm not sure.
Look at this.
That was a little bit strange.
Misuta. Misuta's found the bomb. He pushed all the way through from Monster. Now he's got this information. He's got control of it as well. Omali to confirm it. They have to come back and fight him. 50 seconds. This is going to bite so much of their precious time away. And now he's got RPK to support as well. This is falling apart for Virtus.pro. They're down to 2. They've lost the bodies. They've lost the position. They've got to clear out these angles. So now their position's known. If it wasn't already. Disastrous is what this is. You had that initial pick, and then everything just fell apart. The aggression from Vitality is perfectly rewarded on B. And they're gonna save. They're gonna save. They're gonna save. Classic VP. Gonna keep these guns alive. Gonna back away and see what they can do. SANJI catches the first. Vitality has a little bit of money to play with. I don't know that they have a lot. ZywOo certainly not gonna hunt. But RPK might come in after time. Just try and take one more of these guns away. Is he gonna do it? No, he'll chill. So Vitality, now they're within 1. The money is in all sorts of weird spots for VP. They do save the op, which can be dropped over to Jame. They could invest around this. Jame could drop an AK. Buster can buy himself up. Yeah, they're gonna invest. They're gonna buy. They've actually got a pretty decent run here to do so. But Vitality, a stone's throw away from taking the lead here, Dean.
As you said, I understand this buy. It's not bad by any means. Kikert on a Galil, a Deagle for SANJI. Other than that, everyone pretty much has what they need, but it's risky at this scoreline. It's risky at 13-12. If it doesn't work, Vitality will probably go into the lead. And at that point, a map 3 starting to look fairly likely. A long rush. Okay, this is a switch up. I don't think we've seen this yet from VP. Not going to actually be pushing straight up, and they don't even decide to commit in. They're just leaving Buster here for now, and even then, he throws a flash and is just holding on. It's a good thing he hadn't pushed forward, because there was the counter flash over from Vitality, and ZywOo is also now in position. So this is going to be tough. Never mind, what? Buster. It's a ridiculous shot to take off his head. There is a second player trying to follow up, and well, I think received by Buster makes things awkward, but he hangs on, crouching up and down, ducking and peeking, and well, taking out shox and giving a fantastic two-man advantage to VP in such an important round as well. And they're going to find the monster aggression. Look at this Vitality going through. There is a player in the mini monster rather playing for the anti-flash, and yeah, ready for the trade with that as well. B is open. Apex is going to have to rotate down and pull off a miracle with this clutch.
This is so tough now. Apex, he's going to try, but there's a player already in water. He's not expecting that. SANJI hits him with the uppercut. And he's down for the count. Virtus.pro. They let Vitality back in, but now they try and shut them out. Round 1, 14-12. And now this is looking a little dire for the French squad. They have money on a couple of players, but not on all. They're going to go for it. They're going to risk it. They're gonna play for this. They don't want to play for overtime. Op on ZywOo. Couple of guns. shox, what does he even bring to bear? A deagle. Couple of pistols to work with. A deagle, a CZ. This is going to be so tough. Utility going down.
It's so rough. So rough. We've seen Vitality obviously fight back time and time again on Inferno and take us to the overtime even, but you know, the weaponry right now is what's the real issue. This doesn't work. They're in an even worse position in the following round. So this is honestly the better of the two shots that they currently have at making this happen. To be fair, if they do win it, then yeah, it's actually VP who are looking pretty wrecked in terms of the economy. But they still need to overcome the hurdle, of course, of actually winning this round for that to really be something they're thinking about. 3-man A stack in. Could be the correct decision. We can see the bombs actually just left back over towards the stairs, so they're not really set in stone about the commitment yet, taking all that control up towards long, and also having whatever they need pretty much to go back towards B if they wanted to with the player in connector and also one outside monster. And well, that's what they're looking to do, I believe. Yeah, indeed, moving back down connector, sending both Buster and Jame back around through the spawn, and well, they had actually pulled the third player up towards A with the Nias and with the pressure that they've been putting on this side of the map. So for now, it is only Masuda and RPK that they're going to have to hold off on B.
Now, to be fair, these two players have been great, and these are the two rifles as well. So it's not complete dire straits for Vitality. If they can do damage and set up their teammates for the retake, it's still viable, but those flashes are good. Now the position's revealed, and they are getting erased. Good kill on the monster. YEKINDAR gets the trade, though, and there's the follow-up. RPK dealt with. And a 3-for-2 exchange. Never mind, make that 4 is A-okay in their books. ZywOo. A save might be advised here, but it is ZywOo, so he wants to try for an attempt. YEKINDAR, if he swings in. Oh! Just gonna rip his head from his shoulder. ZywOo was set up for it. Doesn't matter. That's map point found. No op here. Nothing to play with for Vitality. They are broke. They are out of cash, out of time as well, and they might be out of Katowice.
Yeah, this is insane. I don't know. The slow starts are what are really coming back to bite Vitality. They wake up, but, well, it seems like anyway at the end of this one here, they have unfortunately kind of dropped off once again. It was the economy. They never built it up throughout those rounds that they themselves were finding, and now they've just ended up in this horrible cycle of not having a full buy. As I said, this one is way worse even than what they were able to come through with in the previous round. The MP9, I guess, arguably being their best weapon. The most expensive, anyway, we'll put it that way. Because ZywOo does have a deagle. So does RPK. And a few nades. So we'll see what can be done. We know that these pistols can cause serious havoc, but you can even see VP's approach to the round as being pretty cautious. Using those nades as they push forward and just not wanting to give an inch away to Vitality because they know they are on the brink of eliminating them right now. And taking themselves forward to, I believe, play the winner of Fury of FaZe, right?
Yes, that is who they will square up against in the next round. There was an idea here for Vitality. They went for a fast burst out to check for some aggression in towards the construction. Didn't work out. Nobody was there. So now they're spreading around. 4 players towards this A side of the map, though. They do have a decent read, but options are still open for Virtus.pro, and Amali might draw these players down. No, they're getting aggressive by the brackets. I like this. I like this. You've got to risk it in this kind of a round. shox, though, he's blind. There's no way he's getting anything, so that's the first domino to fall. They're looking for 4 more. And right now, it's not looking good. 2 players down. Once they detect the presence up here, well, they might just fall, or they'll just kill everybody. Jame ready for that. Players making their way out on the site. Options available for Virtus.pro, but with 25 seconds, now they have to commit. RPK, he could thwart this if he finds these 2 players, but he has to come up huge, and he will chase and be unable to. Drawn in. Apex has gotten in towards the site, but he is going to be dealt with. He finds 1, but not able to trade. Not just with the CZ. It's all into ZywOo, and it's all over. 16-12. Virtus.pro make it to the lower bracket final. Vitality are out of Katowice. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back to break this down next.